Welcome to another episode of Paranormal New Normal. But once again, it's not a regular episode. It's another special episode, another mini bracket, another one-on-one, and we're doing this topic, the first topic we ever did again. And it's a great topic though, and everybody wants to do this topic. So I'm sure it's gonna be coming up again and again and again. So I enjoy it though. It's something I always can talk about and not get sick of talking about it. So but before we get into that, let my guest introduce himself. Michael, tell them where you're from.
Hi everyone. Sorry, it is my fault that we started late. But I am Michael Colby from Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex, which is a scripted audio drama comedy set in a alternate dimension, Reading, Ohio. It's a very weird show. I'm also from This Bizarre Adventure, where me and my co-host B talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Not We don't really talk about the show too much, though. We mostly go off on tangents about other things. And that's where I'm from.
All
And
right.
that wasn't nearly long enough because Jeremy is still doing something. So I am going to keep talking. You can also go to Some Nobody's YouTube channel where you can see a show, PowerPoint Showdown, where we make up PowerPoint presentations that somebody else made. And also No Time to Binge, which is a show where we watch the first and last episode of a television show and then make up what happens in the middle. I do a lot of improv comedy is the thing. And that's where you can find me. And as soon as Jeremy looks up,
Yep. Good to
uh,
go. Good to
okay,
go.
I'll stop talking.
Sorry. Just had to make sure this was shared out to my personal page too, so that
Okay.
because we are broadcasting live on Blind Knowledge Network on YouTube, and we are broadcasting live on Parapost Network on Facebook. Both networks are always looking for new podcasts and new vodcasts to join the fray. So if you're interested in either, feel free to drop me a line or go directly to them and talk to them too. They can answer you. But we are here to do the horror movie bracket once again. And it's, like I said, it's always a good topic. And Michael was on a bracket on my other show the other day, which will be coming out this weekend. So he knows how brackets work. I don't have to explain it. Everybody should know how brackets work. It's a very common thing in this world. But so let's get into it. And just so everybody knows, once again, these rankings were not made by me. These rankings were made by Rotten Tomatoes. So if you have a problem with it, go complain to Rotten Tomatoes. But to start us off here, Michael, your first matchup is going to be number 14, Scream 3, versus number 41, It from 2017. That's It Chapter 1, I have to say, just to make sure.
This is going to be an upset because I do not like the Scream movies. I don't like the first one. I don't like the new one. I don't like any of them in between. I really liked that It movie, the first one. The second one, but the first one I very much enjoyed. So this is an easy one for me personally. It's going to be It.
And I agree with you 100%, so no worries there. I never have seen any Scream movie, and I don't ever plan to.
You're not missing anything.
In my head, the best version of Scream is Scary Movie 1, so.
That might be true. Nobody gets plastered to the ceiling with cum in any of the Scream movies. So
that was Scary Movie 2, but still.
Oh, was that 2? I thought that was 1.
No,
okay.
No, it was 2 in the house that they're trapped in.
Okay.
One was completely almost basically based off Scream exclusively, but with a few other things thrown in. But
then in that case, I think the perfect Scream movie is Scary Movie 2.
I'll go with you. It's a better movie, that's for sure. But to find out what It is going to face, it's going to be number 13, the original Frankenstein, versus number 28, Dr. Sleep.
Oof. This is a hard one because the original Universal monster movies I get, but I don't love watching them. And Dr. Sleep More like Doctor Sleep, am I right? That movie was boring as shit. Um, uh, I think I'm gonna have to. I think I'm gonna have to bump up Frankenstein on this one because it doesn't matter because it's gonna lose to it in the next round. But yeah, I appreciate those old Universal monster movies, even though they're not, you know, I grew up watching some pretty heinous shit. So those old Universal movies are almost like they're like family friendly for me. So
Yeah, eh, uh, I like Stephen King, so I enjoyed the hell out of Doctor Sleep, but
it,
that's me.
yeah, Doctor Sleep, Stephen King. I think my problem was that I was not in the mood to watch a 2.5 hour movie based on like a recent Stephen King thing. So it just didn't hit anything for me. It didn't hit any of my buttons the day that I watched it. So
Eh,
I'm not saying Doctor Sleep is a bad movie. It wasn't what I was looking for when I watched it.
I mean, I also broke it up throughout the day, like watching like a half hour,
That
45 minutes here, and then like going
yeah,
back to
that
it later.
probably would have been a good idea to do.
But I mean, and it is the sequel to The Shining, which I hate the
Yeah.
movie The Shining, but the book is amazing, and this movie's Doctor Sleep stuck to The Shining book a lot more.
Yeah.
But all right, so yes, it will face Frankenstein in round two, but the next matchup is for me a tough one. I don't know how you're going to feel about it, but it's number 12 Jaws versus number 27 Rosemary's Baby.
Jaws didn't scare me as a kid as much as it did a lot of people. And the last time I watched it, it was in an HD uh like restoration, which they probably shouldn't have done to Jaws because Jaws has those old special effects
Yeah.
that looked fine on film and on old tube televisions where it was like a little bit blurry, but on in HD it looks very very bad. It's a great movie, but not at all scary. Rosemary's Baby is one of the most intense movies I've ever watched. Uh, and that's the horror that I like is like a slow but steady build up to a good payoff. And I'm going to talk about another movie that did the same thing for me a little bit later. But I think I'm gonna have to go Rosemary's Baby on this one.
All right. Well, we'll see what movie that is when we get to it. But and speaking of Universal monsters, they are making an appearance again because to see what's going to face Rosemary's Baby, it's number 11 Bride of Frankenstein versus number 26 Halloween from 1978.
Oh, okay. Well, this is an easy one. I will say I do like Bride of Frankenstein much better than I like the original Frankenstein. I think there's interesting stuff, and I do like the book of Frankenstein. And I wish they would make a better Frankenstein movie version of like Frankenstein's monster, the way that
I
he is in the book.
I agree. Yeah.
Um, but I think they did a better job with Bride of Frankenstein. I do like Bride of Frankenstein better, but it's Halloween, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Halloween. I mean, I can watch Halloween every day for a month and not get tired of it. That movie absolutely rules. It's just it's too good. It's going to be hard to knock Halloween off, even in the later rounds. So this first round is an easy one for me.
Well,
It's how Halloween.
we'll see how you fare next round when it faces Rosemary's Baby. But and the next matchup is going to be number 10, A Quiet Place versus number 25, Silence of the Lambs.
I hate A Quiet Place.
You're not the first.
I think A Quiet Place is a miserable fucking movie.
You're not the first person I've heard say that.
It's just, I don't like. Here's what I appreciate in A Quiet Place. They kill a child within the first 10 minutes of that movie, and I like a movie that has the balls to kill a child like that. But there's just too much stupid stuff that happens, like the fact that they can go to where the river is and just talk freely, like then just fucking move next to the river. And also the nail that's sticking up out of the steps, which is like a big plot point that keeps coming up, makes me so angry because that is not how steps are built, first of all. And also the first time that nail becomes a problem, you take that nail out of the steps. The movie just is terrible. The monster designs are cool, but for the most part, movie bad. Silence of the Lambs wins this one easy.
Yeah, I like The Quiet Place, but it's like a one-time watch. It's not like rewatchable.
It's I probably could have. I have a thing with movies where, like, I can let a lot of dumb stuff go, but when the dumb stuff starts piling up, there's like a tipping point where, oh no, one more dumb thing than I'm willing to let slide happens. Now every dumb thing that happens is like amplified. So
all right. Well,
the acting was good in it, but it was a bad movie, I thought.
Yeah. Well, then to see what Silence of the Lambs going to face, this next matchup features the last of the Universal monsters in this bracket, and it's number 9, the Invisible Man, the original one, versus number 24, Bone Tomahawk.
The Invisible Man, based off of the H.G. Wells story, which the story is so good. I actually really like The Invisible Man as a story, and as far as the Universal monsters go, it's my favorite one. Bone Tomahawk I enjoyed, but I don't remember much of. So I'm going to say the Invisible Man's going to have to win this one.
All right. It's actually funny because the last bracket of this we did, I'll say, since no one's watching at this moment, the last bracket of this we did, Bone Tomahawk won.
Oh, okay.
So
okay, I thought it was a good movie, but neither of these is going to win my personal bracket. And since that's what we're working with right now,
I just wanted to throw that fact out there.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
for that one, but
yeah, it is a cool movie. I do remember enjoying it, but like I couldn't tell you a single thing that happened in that movie.
Yeah, well,
which is probably a me problem.
Yeah. Well, the next matchup is going to be number 8, They Live, versus number 23, Aliens from 1986.
Oh no. Jeremy, why are you doing this to me?
I did not make these rankings.
Oh. I've recently rewatched all of the Aliens movies. Great. The Alien movies are great. I even liked what was that one that everybody hated? Prometheus.
Oh, I love that movie.
It's boring, but I was in the mood for it when that happened, and we watched it with the rest of the Aliens movies, and I was like, oh yeah, I see where this ties in. Like I having the other Alien movies so fresh in my mind helped place things from Prometheus, like, oh yeah, oh that's this and this is that. and I really liked it. But Alien is such a great movie.
Well, this is Aliens. This is the second movie.
Oh, this is Aliens. Okay, then this is easier. Because just like Terminator, I love the first Terminator where it's a horror movie, and I love T2 where it's an action movie less. I love Alien, the horror movie. I like Aliens less. They Live, absolute classic, absolute banger, almost perfect movie. The music, the acting, the everything. As a matter of fact, if I had thought of it, I do have prop money from that movie. The blank white paper that just says "This is your God." I love the message of They Live. I love everything about They Live. They Live's gonna have to move on. If it was Alien, it would have been harder, but since it's Aliens, it's much easier.
Well, Alien will be coming up on the other side of the first round.
That's fine.
But this is going to bring you down to your first play-in matchup of the bracket to find out what's going to be in the final matchup of this side of round one. And this was originally put in here for my co-host of my other show, Chansey. It's his matchup. And it's number 54, Hellraiser, versus number 96, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre original.
Chansey's going to be very pleased because I do like the first Hellraiser movie a lot, but Texas Chainsaw is going to have to go in there. Yeah, like I'm not gonna like go on about it, but that first Hellraiser movie, like nothing I ever saw at that point. But man, that first the original Texas Chainsaw is just such a fucking cool movie. Like it's a cooler, more interesting movie. So I'm gonna have to have, and that's gonna be tough to knock off for those being so low on the rankings. That's gonna be a tough one to knock off.
Oh yeah, well, Chansey always gets mad at me because I say I like the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre better than the original, but
I don't know if I would go that far, but
I think the storyline's better. I think they do more explaining. The original is just purely a slasher and no story behind it really.
See, that's sort of what I like about it because it doesn't. I would say that sort of puts you in the shoes of the main character.
Yeah.
Where like, because she also doesn't know what the hell is going on. Like she just knows she's in this house and she has to get out, and that's sort of all you know as well. And I think that's more interesting. And then, man, does that series go off the rails quick? But but that first one I think is excellent. I like the remake, but I think it's tough to. I'm not going to get mad at you for thinking it's better, but I am going to disagree with you.
All right. Well, based on what you just said, this last matchup on this half of round one that you put Texas Chainsaw Massacre into, this should be easy for you because it's facing number 15, The Lighthouse.
Oh no. The Lighthouse is so fucking good.
Agree or disagree on that, but okay.
I love The Lighthouse.
If I wanted to see Robert Pattinson jerking off, then I would have just tried to find a porn. But
here's a thing about me. I am a weird art school kid. I love that sort of artsy fartsy bullshit. And I like those two guys acting against each other. I think it works. You get to see a mermaid pussy. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, not gonna lie.
I-
I literally fell asleep during part of it, though. That's the thing. Because it was just so fucking boring at parts.
And I can't I don't know if we're going to get into it because I don't remember all of the movies, but I'll say something about one of the movies that I fall asleep during. I am going to put Texas Chainsaw. I am going to have Texas Chainsaw winning this one because again, this is a horror movie bracket, and I think Texas Chainsaw is a much better horror movie. But I just want it to be known that The Lighthouse fucking rules, and everyone should watch it at least once. Also the witch, which is the same. I can never remember his name,
Oh,
but
I hate that one too.
I think the witch is a fucking masterpiece. I love that movie.
I can't stand that movie. It was so boring. I can't do artsy movies like that. Like I can
see,
I can with some things, but not horror.
yeah, I'm okay with that because usually we do in October we do a horror movie a day, and it's one of those that I like to throw in there to like split up the month. It's like you can only watch so many throats get slashed and heads come off and that kind of stuff
Yeah.
before it's like, all right, let's slow this down a little bit with the witch. We'll watch Black Phillip slowly make this family turn against each other.
Yep. That makes sense. And that means in the next round you're gonna have Texas Chainsaw Massacre going against They Live. But
Oh, that'll be an easy one. But let's go to the other side of the bracket.
yes, the other side of the bracket is going to be starting off with number 7, The Babadook, versus number 22, Night of the Living Dead, the original.
Okay. Before I kick it out of here, The Babadook was the other movie that I was talking about with the slow build. The Babadook was one of the first movies in a long time that actually scared me. Like I was freaked out while I was watching The Babadook because of that slow build up. And then the ending hit and I was like, "Oh, that fucking sucks." I hated the ending of that movie. And then I saw a I saw who Joe Bob Briggs is, correct?
What name?
Joe Bob Briggs. He used to do Monster. He's like a horror movie host. He was on TV and now he's on Shudder.
If I saw him, I probably would maybe
You
recognize him,
probably would. But he's like a horror host, like Elvira sort of does. Like he talks about the movies. And then he put out a theory where the Babadook wasn't a real like monster, that it was that the mom in that movie wrote the book, and it was her like postpartum depression and
that would make sense.
And her, her being so angry and upset about her husband dying, on the way, and so anyway, it made the ending less bad for me. So I really do like the Babadook, but Night of the Living Dead is the first horror movie that I ever saw. It's what got me into horror. I am unable to be objective about Night of the Living Dead. I have the original script on my bookshelf. I have a huge poster of it. I love Night of the Living Dead. It's I did a podcast where like 8 guys picked our top 5 favorite movies, and it was my number 1 favorite movie for that podcast. So Night of the Living Dead's going to have to move on, and I don't know if it's going to win because I feel like that would be unfair, but we'll see what it's up against. It's going to be hard to knock off.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But to see what's going to face in the next round, the next matchup is number 6, When a Stranger Calls, the original, versus number 21, The Blair Witch.
I don't have too much to say about these movies. The Blair Witch is going to win this one. Depending, I've seen Blair Witch probably 4 or 5 times, and depending on when I watched it, I was like, wow, that was great, or that was kind of boring until the end. But either way, I think it's a better movie. I think it's a more interesting concept, and I enjoyed watching it more than When a Stranger Calls.
And Blair Witch is one of those movies I refuse to see ever.
Oh,
I,
it's
I, I, I'm not a fan of found footage movies to begin with. There's only one exception I make to that, and that's Bobcat Goldthwait's Bigfoot movie he did. But
oh, what movie was that?
I,
The one where the YouTube streamer guy
yeah,
goes into the house and then he meets that girl who's there, who's like,
no, it's called Willow Creek.
oh, okay, I'm thinking of a different movie.
Yeah, no, it's called Willow Creek. It's a found footage movie about a couple going camping, and then
Okay.
it's pretty fucking boring until it gets to night. But once it gets to night, shit starts happening.
Okay, I'm also not a huge fan of found footage, but I'm old enough that I did see Blair Witch in the theater. So like back then when there wasn't a million found footage movies,
Yeah, it was
it
original.
was something interesting. And like I said, since then I've fallen off of that genre hard. Like I hate those Paranormal Activity movies.
Oh, me too.
Pretty much any found footage. Those VHS movies are also fucking miserable. But I still have a place in my heart for Blair Witch.
All right. Well, that means Blair Witch is gonna face Night of the Living Dead in the next round. Which
That'll
I'm
be
sure
an easy one.
yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure it's gonna be easy for you. But
Yeah.
the next matchup is number 5, Alien from 1979, versus number 20, It Follows.
Oh, Alien by a mile. I like It Follows. I think it's interesting. I think what they did with their small budget was amazing. Like the effects for a movie that didn't have a budget were like really cool. I like the movie. I like the premise. But if you think that you're gonna be able to knock off Sigourney Weaver with an STD that follows you around and tries to kill you until you fuck somebody different, sorry, you're wrong. Alien wins this one in a landslide.
All right. Well, to see what Alien is gonna face, it's number 4, Us, versus number 19, Let the Right One In.
The original Let the Right One In.
Yes.
Not that it's going to matter because Us is so good and so suspenseful. The acting is so good. I really enjoy Jordan Peele's movies, and I think this is the best one.
I agree.
So Let the Right One In, good movie, like cool movie, but not even touching what Us is doing.
I agree 100%. But all right, that means that Us will face Alien in the next round.
That's probably the toughest second round match that I've noticed so far.
And that means the next matchup is going to be number 3, Tales from the Hood, versus number 18, Hereditary.
I mean, it's Tales from the Hood. Tales from the Hood is so cool. It's one of those. It's like it's like Black Dynamite in that it's taking like a blaxploitation thing and making it modern and not like royally fucking it up. So I think it's I think that one's got to be Tales from the Hood. I do really enjoy that movie. Sorry about the second round Tales from the Hood, but at least you got out of the first round.
Well, yeah, based on what you've done so far, I think in the second round it's going to be gone. But we'll see if it goes the way I think it's going to go. But to see what's going to face, the next matchup is number 2, Get Out, versus number 17, Demon.
Yeah, I mean, it's Get Out. Demon's good, but it has a pacing issue.
Yeah, I didn't
Like
like it.
so many of the movies from that time period, it's got a pacing issue, and Get Out fucking rules. So Get Out's gonna win this one.
Which means that Get Out will face Tales from the Hood in the second round.
Okay, closer than I was expecting, because Tales from the Hood is, I think, more fun. I think it's a more fun movie. So depending on what day you catch me.
Yep. Well, that you only have 3 matchups left in round 1.
Okay.
And the next one's the only last full matchup left still, and it's number 1, Psycho from 1960, versus number 16, Bird Box.
Oh, this one's easy because Bird Box, not good. So I'm not as big of an Alfred Hitchcock fan as I probably should be, because he, back in the 60s, 50s and 60s, when he was making movies, he's better at pacing and editing his movies than most people were, but it's still got that slow 60s pace.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I thought Bird Box was one of the stupidest movies. It was like, I think I watched that and Silent Place at the same time. So I may have just been in a bad mood that day, but I was like, how is this thing? Because when that came out, that was like a big thing. Like, people were like, oh yeah, Bird Box, it's great. You got to watch it. You like horror movies, you got to watch this. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
All right. Well, that means Psycho does move on. But to see what's going to face, we first have to do it the second play-in matchup of this bracket and the last play-in matchup. And this is a play-in matchup I created, and it's called the Female Redemption play-in. And it's 55, Teeth, versus number 67, Revenge.
Well, I just watched Revenge for this because it was one of the few that I hadn't seen.
You're welcome.
It rules. It's really good. And Teeth, again, interesting premise, but I was not enjoying myself watching the movie.
I'm pretty sure no man was, but yeah.
I mean, it's not even that. It just was. It was just kind of boring, and I was like, "Am I crazy?" Because I was watching it with my wife, and I was like, "I'm like, am I crazy or is this boring?" And she's like, "I think she liked it more than I did, but I think she did say that it was boring." So, but Revenge is really good. There's a couple like revenge movies that I would probably rather watch, but that one was really cool and had some horrific like injuries. I'm gonna say injuries because
Yeah,
like when she, spoiler alert, when she falls off of that tree and the tree like impales her, like, so gross.
oh god, yeah, that was for an Australian horror movie with no budget and
Yeah,
no famous actors or actresses even. Like, it's
yeah,
just an amazing movie.
yeah. It's really good. It reminded me of, you know, uh, there's some, like I said, but I put it up there. It's like up
Enough.
there.
Enough comes to mind. That's the one movie that
No,
comes to mind.
yeah, like, did you see Mandy?
I don't think I have.
You should. It rules. It's not the same thing. It's not like a woman getting redemption, from what happened to her. It's not an I Spit on Your Grave, but it is a revenge movie, and it's one of the coolest looking. But like Donkey Punch was also one of those like exploitation, like female exploitation movies that ended up being like way better than I thought it would be.
Oh, wait a minute. I did watch Mandy, I think.
Yeah, it's
I'm
the
pretty.
Nick Cage movie that's like it's all like washed out in red, and he's
Oh,
fighting
yeah,
a cult
yeah.
who killed his wife.
Yep, I did watch it. Yeah, it was because these rankings I originally got from Masturbator's 104 horror movie bracket they did back in October. So
Okay.
I watched every movie on that list.
Okay.
So all the movies I haven't seen, but and so I watched Mandy because it was on that list further down. But
Okay. I liked Mandy okay the first time I saw it, but for some reason they were playing it on Shudder on their like live service over and over again. So I kept catching it, and every time I watched it again, I was like, "Oh, this rules." So
yeah, I didn't like it as much as I liked Willy's Wonderland or Wally's Wonderland,
yeah,
what hell
yeah,
it is, but
that one
it's
was also very cool.
but it was a cool. Mandy was definitely a good movie.
Yeah.
But so that means Revenge is moving into the first round.
Yep.
And it's going to be facing for the last matchup in round 1, number 30, Cabin in the Woods.
Oh.
I know, that's a fucked match.
Oh. Oh. Cabin in the Woods is so good.
It's epic.
Cabin in the Woods came out at the same time as the 2013 Evil Dead reboot,
Yep.
and I watched them. I don't think back to back, but they were very close to each other, and I was like, "Damn, Cabin in the Woods is a better Evil Dead reboot than the Evil Dead reboot." It's
Cabin in the Woods is just incredible because it literally has every paranormal mythical creature known to
yep,
man in it.
yeah, it's so cool, and like the premise of the movie is so cool. Like how they do it is so cool. How they show the people in the office like not caring about these people's lives because they know what they're doing, and then again, spoiler alert, the thing gets let out and kills everyone, period.
All,
And
all,
I
all,
love that as an ending.
all the things get let out. That's the thing.
Yes.
Like all the things, and that's the
Yeah,
creepy
but
part.
yeah, all the things get let out in the building, but those last two don't die the way that they're supposed to, so it
Yeah.
does let out the old god that they're trying to appease, and he does destroy the earth, and that rules. Like
Yeah. It's a metal ending, but
yeah, so
and
I'm gonna, and now that I'm talking about it, I think Cabin in the Woods has to go on this one,
which means
has to
Cabin in the
go forward on this one. Has
which
to
means
win this.
which means Cabin in the Woods will face Psycho in the next round.
Oh, that's an easy one.
Yeah. And we actually just did a shark movie bracket on Paranormal New Normal last month. And I found the shark movie equivalent of Cabin in the Woods, and it's called Shark Night.
Ooh. Okay. I'm actually
Yeah. I as soon as I watched it, I'm like, this is like the Cabin in the Woods of shark movies.
okay. I wrote it down. I'm watching it this weekend.
All right. That means that round 1 is officially over, and we're moving into round 2. And round 2, the first matchup, and remember, all these matchups were made by you, so
Yep.
you've known to blame but yourself.
Yep.
But the first matchup is number 41, It, versus number 13, Frankenstein.
That's gonna be it. That's gonna be it. It's just a more fun movie to watch, even though it is unforgivably long. It is
Yeah,
so long.
if you actually read the book, it's a lot fucking long.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It took me 3-4 months at least to read that book. Like it was ridiculously long.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's very long.
It's Stephen King though. He's described
Yeah.
every mailbox in town.
Yes,
But
I grew up. My mom got every Stephen King book as it came out, so I grew up with Stephen King. I'm no stranger to Stephen King stuff.
Yep. All right. So to find out what it's going to face in the quarterfinals, the next matchup is number 27, Rosemary's Baby, versus number 26, Halloween Original.
Halloween. Yeah, this is a pretty easy one as well. Halloween, like I said, classic. They say it's the first slasher. I'm sure I could find a slasher that came out before, but I think
Yeah.
it perfected it. It's also John Carpenter, so it's got the music. It's got it's got the Carpenter style. It's everything about it is great.
Which means that Halloween will face it in the quarterfinals. But the next matchup is number 25, Silence of the Lambs, versus number 9, The Invisible Man original.
Whatever wins here is going to get knocked out. But I'm gonna go with one of my top 3 favorite authors of all time is H.G. Wells, and I think The Invisible Man is my favorite story of his. So I'm gonna go Invisible Man on this one. I don't love Silence of the Lambs as much as a lot of people. So
Yeah. And plus, it's not really a horror movie in my mind. It's a psychological
yeah,
thriller.
yeah, yes, it's definitely way more of a thriller. There's a
But
couple things that I've taken off of this list for not really being horror movies, even though I like them. So
yeah,
Silence of the Lambs going to have to be one of those.
funny enough, when they did the 104 bracket, I'm pretty sure Silence of the Lambs won.
I I believe that because it is probably, as far as movies go, the best movie like there.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best one, but it's up there as far as movies go. But when I'm watching a horror movie, Silence of the Lambs kind of not what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I agree. But to find out what the Invisible Man is going to face in the quarterfinals, there's one matchup up in this side, round 2, and it's number 8, They Live, versus number 96, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Sorry, Chansey. They live again. John Carpenter, anti-capitalism, the John Carpenter music, Rowdy Roddy Piper, fucking what's his name?
Yeah, I know the guy you're thinking of. I just can't think of his name.
Why can't? Oh God, I'm so bad. Keith David,
Yeah, Keith
fucking
David.
amazing in that movie. It's too good. Carpenter is John Carpenter makes maybe my favorite movies. Is my favorite movie maker.
Well, that's going to bring us to the other side of round 2. And the first matchup is number 22, Night of the Living Dead, versus number 21, The Blair Witch Project.
Night of the Living Dead. That's an easy one here.
It should be.
Yeah.
But this next one might not be as easy. Find out what Night of the Living Dead is going to face in the quarterfinals. It'll be number 5, Alien from 1979 versus number 4, Us.
Again, we are going horror movie. When I think of horror movies, I'm going to have to go Alien on this one. I like Us so much. I would put that in a thriller bracket for the most part. And Alien is just so cool. It nails down the like isolation and being pursued by this singular thing. And Sigourney Weaver starts as like just this like whatever scientist who has no idea what she's doing, and then like you watch her become an action star through the movie. Like you can see her grow into that character of Ellen Ripley as the movie goes, and I think it's just like a masterpiece of like character storytelling. And Us
Yeah.
again, fucking fantastic movie. And I feel bad for saying all of that stuff about Alien without saying that stuff about Us, because it also has all of that stuff. But there's something about the alien design, Sigourney Weaver's like acting in that, and the acting in Us is fantastic, and everything about Us is fantastic. And I'm not like discounting it, but Alien, man, for a horror movie, tough to beat. Tough to beat Alien in the horror movie category.
Yep. Man. And oh yeah, I meant to say it after the last matchup, but don't worry, Chancey wouldn't be mad that Texas Chainsaw lost to They Live. He loves They Live. So
oh God, it's so good. I watched that for that same podcast that I was talking about earlier, and I was like, I love it when a movie that I loved as a kid holds up as well as They Live did.
Yeah, but that means there's 2 matchups left in round 2, and the first one is going to be number 3, Tales from the Hood, versus number 2, Get Out.
Oof, God damn. I think this is harder than it should be, because Get Out is incredible. And Tales from the Hood sounds like it should be like cheesy, and it is, but it's also so fun, and they also nail they absolutely nail what they're going for. Get Out is going to win, but by less than I'm comfortable with.
Understandable. But to find out what it's going to face in the quarterfinals, it's going to be number 1, Psycho, versus number 30, Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods. Easy.
Yeah. I am not a fan of the original Psycho at all. So yeah,
I don't dislike it, but it's slow. It's a slow moving movie.
Well, that means you're down to the quarterfinals.
All right.
So there's only 8 movies left at this point. But the first matchup is going to be number 41, It, versus number 26, Halloween.
Halloween. I think the quarterfinals are going to go pretty quick. But Halloween.
They usually do.
Yeah. Halloween, you fucking nailed it with that one.
Well, to find out what Halloween's going to face in the semifinals, it's going to be number 9, The Invisible Man, versus number 8, They Live.
God damn it. I can't believe you're making me pit John Carpenter against himself. They Live.
Technically, you made yourself pick it, but
yeah. Well, I mean, you put it on the same side. I would have liked to have had John Carpenter facing himself in the final.
Yeah.
Even though I know what's going to win in my heart, I know what's going to win, but I don't like having to face John Carpenter off against himself.
Well, that's a bring us to the other side of the quarterfinals. Two matchups left in this round, and it's number 22, Night of the Living Dead, versus number 5, Alien.
Oh. I'm not gonna blow a blood vessel like Chancey did when we were doing that Dog Fashion Disco bracket. But this is, I think, the toughest one so far. Like I said, I cannot be objective about Night of the Living Dead because I watch it every year. I know every second of that movie. It's the movie that got me into horror movies. But if I am going to sit down and watch a movie, or like put a movie on for someone, like to watch a movie with someone, I think I would rather watch Aliens or Alien. So I think Alien's going to have to go on in this one. The H.R. Giger design of the ship and the xenomorph, just it's a more visually interesting, a more fast moving movie that I think I would rather watch.
Which means it's going to face one of these 2 movies in the semifinals, and it's going to be either number 2, Get Out, or number 30, Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods is too much fun. It's too much fun. Of any of these movies, if I had a party and 10 people were over and I was like, let's watch a movie, it would be Cabin in the Woods. Out of all of these movies, it's not the one I would it's not the one I would pick if I was sitting down to watch a movie, but if, it's like Italian food. Like, nobody's going to complain about watching Cabin in the Woods. So I think Cabin in the Woods is going to have to win this one. Again, not discounting Get Out, because it is like top tier, but it's not fun. And Cabin in the Woods is too fun.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I love Get Out, but
I love Get Out.
And Get Out made pretty damn far in the original one we did these, and in the last one we did, it didn't make it at all because that person hated Jordan Peele. But
yeah, as well it should. It's a fantastic movie, and I would recommend it to anyone. But I would rather watch Cabin in the Woods.
yeah, well, that means we're now in the semifinals. So there's only 4 matchups left in the whole bracket. Yeah. And the first match in the semifinals is going to be number 26, Halloween, versus number 8, They Live.
It's They Live.
Ooh,
it's They Live.
I can't say I saw that coming.
Maybe I didn't play up how much I love how much I love They Live.
But you also did the same thing for Halloween, so
yes. Yeah, it's got to be They Live. There's just too much good stuff in that movie.
Well, that means They Live moves on to the finals, but it's going to face one of these 2 movies, and it's either going to be number 5, Alien, or number 30, Cabin in the Woods.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to clear my mind, and then I'm just going to say I'm just going to say one of the movies. All right, ready? Here we go. Alien. It's Alien.
All right. Well, that means that the finals are set. But before we get to the final matchup, we got to do the 3rd and 4th place matchup just for shits and giggles. So that matchup is going to be between number 26, Halloween, and number 30, Cabin in the Woods.
Now I'm going to surprise myself, and I'm going to say 4 is Halloween and 3 is Cabin in the Woods. I can't stress enough how fun Cabin in the Woods is. It's one of the most fun horror movies. The fact that none of the Evil Dead movies are on here is probably
all 3 of them are all 3 of the originals are further down. But
that's insane to me. If I were to make a top, what did you say, 104?
Yep.
If I made a top 104 horror movies list, Evil Dead 2 would be top 3 easy.
I agree.
So you have made, they have made this easier by not putting an Evil Dead movie in high enough.
Well, we might be going further down the list come October. I've been thinking about it since the horror movie bracket's been the most popular one people that want to do so far. So
yeah, doing the whole thing.
Not the whole thing, but I might do the next 34, 36, and then every year keep going down the list a little further. But
I think for October you should have as many people as was on the Dog Fashion Disco bracket and do the entire thing of 104.
Trying to get people to sit through that freaking 4-hour marathon would be impossible.
I think you're underestimating at 4 hours.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it'd be hard to get people to do that. Trust me. we did 128 bracket once, and it lasted 3.5 hours about.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to be did you announce the next one that I'm going to be on?
Not yet, but
Okay. I think
that's
that one's also going to be pretty long.
oh, it will be. But so that means that your finals are number 8, They Live, versus number 5, Alien from 1979.
And I hate this. I don't enjoy picking between these two movies. But it's got to be They Live. It's They Live.
Oh,
it's
I know a lot of people that won't be disappointed in that result at all.
Yeah,
but
I'm not disappointed. I didn't like making the choice, but I knew what it was. I didn't want to say it out loud, but I knew what it was.
yep, I understand. But that means that your final 4 were in 4th place Halloween, in 3rd place Cabin in the Woods, in 2nd place Alien, and in 1st place They Live. But
I like that. I like that last 4 a lot. I like it a lot.
yeah, well, and yeah, it's a completely different. Every time I do have someone do this bracket, it's always a different result. That's the fun part. It's
Yeah.
always a different result based on people's personalities. But
Yeah,
why don't you? Oh no, go ahead, please.
I love everything about They Live. It's I like the message. I like the acting. Even the crappy weird 80s like costumes, the masks and stuff look bad, but in a way that fits the movie. I love the 10-minute long fight scene in the alleyway. I love Roddy Piper jumping off of a balcony to escape. Yeah. It's just everything is so insane in that movie.
It truly is. So I appreciate the movie enough, and I appreciate that it won. But tell the people where they can find you, where they can find your podcast, in case they want to complain about your results.
Well, you can, if you want to complain about my results, I'm on Instagram at Jack Billings Presents. And you can, pick a post to complain about it on, even though I'm not going to have anything on the Instagram about it, or you can just PM me. My PMs are open. I don't care. I'll discuss movies with some randos that message me on Instagram. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, that's I'm going to just plug the Instagram because I did say the podcast at the beginning.
That's fine.
If you want like to check out what Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex is all about, I put clips of all the episodes up on Instagram, so you can listen to like a 30 to 90 second clip of an episode and see if you want to hear more, which I think you will, because the show's really fun.
And of course, you can find the links to all the podcasts he's on in the description anyway, because I always do that. But
cool.
And I want to thank Michael for coming on, because it's been a fun bracket. I've enjoyed this thoroughly. And Michael will be back, not on this show, but on my other show, Maniacal Music Musings, for a Weird Al bracket at the end of this month. So,
whoa, we're breaking news. It's a Weird Al bracket, and I've been listening to so much Weird Al. He's so good.
I know. I fell in love with Weird Al doing that bracket in the original time we did it with, because every time we do one of these brackets on our show, it's always with 7 people or 5 people at least. So that's the first time is before it gets open to 1-on-1s and 3-on-1s and all that. It always is with 5 or 7 people, and then after we do it originally, then it can be done again. But
yeah,
we got to do a group one first.
I did realize as I was listening to the songs, I was like, oh, because I grew up with him. Like, I've been listening to him since I was a kid, and I was like, oh, a lot of the things that I find funny are directly because of Weird Al. Like,
I can see that.
His sense of humor is, if you like Weird Al, I think you'll like Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex, because we have there's a lot of like crazy shit like he does his songs about in that show.
Well, check it out, folks. And you all know where you can find me. Listen to the outro if you don't. But until next time, it's just easier. Until next time, we'll see you next time. And make sure to check out all the old episodes of Paranormal New Normal. And anybody can do one of these brackets. You just have to hit me up. Have a
Hell
good
yeah.
night.